Welcome to a captivating journey through the life of Black Beauty, a story that not only enchants but educates, inviting learners of English to dive deep into a world where compassion, kindness, and understanding reign. This tale, woven with simple yet profound sentences, is designed to ease your path in learning English, making each chapter not just a lesson in language, but in life itself. Black Beauty's story unfolds from the lush meadows of his youth, through the challenges and hardships he faces, to the tranquility of his final years. It's a tale that brings to light the importance of treating all creatures with the respect and kindness they deserve. As you follow Black Beauty's journey, you'll encounter characters who embody the best and worst of humanity, lessons learned from both joy and sorrow, and the undeniable bond between humans and animals. This story is more than just words on a page. It's an invitation to reflect on how we treat the fellow beings with whom we share this world. It encourages us to ponder the impact of our actions and to strive for a future where compassion towards all living creatures is a universal trait. We hope this story not only helps you improve your English, but also touches your heart, reminding you of the beauty of kindness and the power of empathy. Your engagement means the world to us. If this story moves you, if it helps you learn and grow, please press the like button to reward us. Your likes and comments are not just appreciated, they motivate us to continue creating content that enriches and educates. Join us on this journey with Black Beauty. Learn English through his story, and let's make the world a little kinder, one word at a time. Share your thoughts, reflections, and how this story has influenced your view of the world in the comments below. Let's create a community of learners and compassionate souls, united by the love of language and life. Chapter 1. The First Light. In the soft glow of the morning sun, I opened my eyes for the first time. I was in a lush meadow, surrounded by tall green grass that danced in the gentle breeze. My mother, Duchess, stood beside me, her coat shining in the light. She nuzzled me gently, welcoming me to the world. "My dear," she whispered, "welcome to our meadow. This is our home." I was young, full of curiosity, and eager to explore the vast green world around me. The meadow was alive with sounds, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of other horses. My mother watched over me as I took my first wobbly steps, her eyes filled with pride and love. "Come," Duchess said, guiding me through the meadow. "Let me show you the beauty of our world." As we walked, she taught me about kindness and respect. "We are creatures of grace," she explained. "We must always treat others with the same kindness we wish to receive. Our human friends will look after us, and in return, we offer them our loyalty and service." Our days were filled with learning and play. I learned to listen to the whispers of the wind and to understand the silent language of the natural world. Duchess taught me how to graze on the sweetest patches of grass and where to find the freshest water in the stream that ribboned through our meadow. One day, as the sun dipped low in the sky, painting everything with a golden hue, Duchess and I were greeted by our human caretakers. They came with gentle hands and kind words, offering us fresh hay and clean water. They spoke softly, their voices filled with warmth. "These are our friends," Duchess said, nodding toward the humans. "They take care of us, and in return we trust them and work with them." I watched in wonder as they tended to us, their actions gentle and respectful. It was my first lesson in the partnership between horses and humans, a bond built on mutual respect and care. As the days turned into weeks, I grew stronger and more confident under my mother's watchful eye and our human friend's care. I learned to run like the wind, my hooves barely touching the ground as I raced across the meadow. Duchess ran alongside me, her spirit as wild and free as mine. But it wasn't all play. There were lessons to be learned too. Our human friends taught me how to wear a halter and lead rope. At first I was uncertain, the unfamiliar weight on my back a strange sensation. But with patience and gentle guidance, I learned to accept it, understanding it as part of my growth and my journey into the world beyond the meadow. Our lives are filled with lessons, my child, Duchess would say. Each one teaches us something important about ourselves and the world around us. Remember, no matter where life takes you, carry the lessons of kindness and respect with you. They will be your strength. As I lay beside my mother under the starlit sky, I reflected on her words. The meadow, with its endless green and sky so vast, felt like the entire universe. Yet I knew there was much more beyond its borders, adventures to be had, challenges to face, and friendships to forge. My heart was filled with dreams and possibilities as I drifted into sleep, the gentle sounds of the meadow lulling me into peaceful slumber. I was ready for whatever lay ahead, armed with the lessons of the meadow and the love of my mother. This was just the beginning of my journey, a journey that would take me far from the meadow and into the wide, unknown world. But no matter how far I travelled, the memories of my first days, filled with love, kindness, and the beauty of our meadow, would stay with me forever. Chapter 2. The Sail. The morning sun rose, casting a warm glow over the meadow. It was a day like no other in my young life, a day that would change my path forever. I stood close to my mother, Duchess, feeling her warmth beside me. Little did I know, this morning was the beginning of a new chapter. Our human friends arrived, their faces serious yet kind. Today, they told us, I would be leaving the meadow. I was to go to a new home, a place called Birtwick Park, owned by someone named Squire Gordon. My heart raced with a mix of excitement and fear. Leaving the meadow and my mother behind was a thought I had never entertained. Duchess, sensing my apprehension, nuzzled me gently. "This is part of your journey, my dear," she said softly. "Remember what I've taught you. Carry our lessons of kindness and respect into this new world." With a heavy heart, I bid farewell to my mother and the meadow. The journey to Birtwick Park was a blur, my mind filled with memories of the meadow and uncertainty about the future. Upon arrival, I was greeted by the sight of lush greenery and stately buildings. Birtwick Park was beautiful, but so different from my home. I was led to the stable, where I would meet those who would become my new companions. The first was Ginger, a spirited mare with a fiery mane that matched her name. Ginger was wary at first, her past experiences having taught her to be cautious. But beneath her guarded exterior, I sensed a kindred spirit, a friend waiting to be made. Then there was Merrylegs, a small pony with a heart as big as his name suggested. Merrylegs was the light of the stable, always ready with a nuzzle or a playful trot. His joyous spirit was infectious, and I found myself drawn to his positive energy. In those first days at Birtwick Park, I learned about my new responsibilities. I was to be a carriage horse, a role that came with great responsibility. Squire Gordon and his family depended on me for safe and comfortable travel. It was a task I took to heart, determined to fulfill my duties with the grace and strength I had inherited from my mother. Training began under the watchful eyes of John Manley, the stable manager. John was a man of few words, but his gentle guidance spoke volumes. He taught me how to harness my strength, how to respond to the reins, and how to carry myself with dignity. Under his tutelage, I learned the art of being a carriage horse, mastering the balance of power and gentleness required. Ginger and Merrylegs became my closest friends, each of us finding comfort in the other's company. Ginger shared her stories with me, tales of her past that were both fascinating and heartbreaking. Together, we vowed to support each other, to face whatever challenges Birtwick Park might bring us as one. Merrylegs, with his boundless energy, reminded us to find joy in every day. He taught me that even amidst the responsibilities and challenges, there was always room for laughter and play. His spirit was a constant reminder of the beauty of life, no matter where we were. As the days turned into weeks, I grew into my role at Birtwick Park. The squire and his family were kind, treating us with the respect and care that my mother had spoken of. I realized that, although I was far from the meadow, the lessons of my youth still held true. Kindness, respect, and understanding were universal, transcending the boundaries of the meadow and Birtwick Park alike. I carried my duties with pride, knowing that in doing so I was honouring the teachings of my mother and the trust placed in me by the squire and his family. The work was hard, but fulfilling. Each day brought new challenges, but also new joys. In my heart, I carried the memories of the meadow, the love of my mother, and the lessons she had instilled in me. They were my strength, guiding me through the ups and downs of my new life. And in my friends Ginger and Merrylegs, I found the spirit of the meadow alive and well. Together, we faced each day with courage and hope, ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. Birtwick Park became my new home, a place where I learned, grew, and thrived. It was here, among new friends and under the guidance of kind humans, that I discovered the true meaning of my journey. It was a journey of growth, of change, and of finding one's place in the world. And it was only just beginning. Chapter 3. Birtwick Park Life. Life at Birtwick Park was like a fresh morning breeze, full of promise and new beginnings. Every day I woke up in my comfortable stable, greeted by the soft nickers of Ginger and the cheerful whinnies of Merrylegs. Our stable was a place of warmth and companionship, where each of us, despite our different stories, found a common ground in the care and kindness of our surroundings. The squire and his family treated us with a kindness that went beyond mere duty. They saw us not just as horses, but as beings with hearts and spirits. Mrs. Gordon often visited the stables with treats and gentle pats, her voice soft and soothing. Her children, too, would come by, their laughter a bright melody in the air. They treated us with respect, learning to ride and care for us under John Manley's watchful eye. John was more than just a stable manager. He was our guide and protector. He ensured that our bridles fit comfortably, that our hooves were well cared for, and that our coats gleamed with health. Under his care, we thrived, our well-being his top priority. My duties as a carriage horse brought me great joy. The feeling of the harness snug against my body, the gentle pull of the carriage and the open roads of Birtwick Park were exhilarating. I carried the squire and his family to picnics, to visit neighbours, and sometimes to the nearby town. The trust they placed in me, to carry them safely, filled me with pride. Ginger, too, found her place alongside me. Together we made a fine pair, drawing the carriage with synchronized steps. Our friendship deepened with each passing day. The initial wariness replaced by a bond forged in mutual respect and shared experiences. Merrylegs had his own important role, often pulling a smaller cart for the children or giving them riding lessons in the paddock. His patience and gentle nature made him a favourite among the young ones. his tiny hooves trotting around with carefree abandon. Life at Birtwick Park was not just about work. There were moments of leisure, too, when we roamed the pastures, our hooves kicking up the soft earth, the wind in our manes. These moments of freedom, of feeling the sun on our backs and the grass under our feet, were a reminder of the meadow I had left behind. Yet, here in this new home, I found a different kind of freedom, one built on mutual respect and understanding. The seasons changed, each bringing its own beauty and challenges. In the spring, the park bloomed with flowers, the air sweet with their scent. We trotted along paths lined with blossoming trees, the world around us a riot of colour. Summer brought longer days, the warmth of the sun extending our time in the fields. In autumn, the leaves turned gold and red, a stunning tapestry against the clear blue sky. And winter, with its blanket of snow, transformed Birtwick Park into a wonderland of silence and peace. With each season, my connection to this place and its inhabitants deepened. I learned that happiness was not just in the freedom of the meadow, but also in the bonds of friendship and care. The squire and his family, John Manley, Ginger, Merrylegs, and the others who lived and worked at Birtwick Park, became my family. Their kindness, their respect, and their love made every day a treasure. I often thought of my mother, Duchess, and the lessons she had taught me. Her wisdom, her grace, and her spirit were with me always, guiding me through the joys and challenges of my life at Birtwick Park. I hoped that I made her proud, living the values she had instilled in me. As the stars shone down on Birtwick Park each night, I stood in my stable, my heart full of gratitude. I had found a home where I was valued, where my well-being mattered, and where I could live with dignity. This was a place where kindness reigned, where every creature, big and small, was treated with the respect they deserved. Life at Birtwick Park was a beautiful journey, a testament to the power of kindness and the bonds that tie us all. Here, in this place of love and respect, I found not just a home, but a family, and for that I was eternally grateful. Chapter 4. A Test of Courage. One stormy night at Birtwick Park, the wind howled like a pack of wild wolves, shaking the trees and rattling the windows. Rain poured down in sheets, turning the ground to mud and the paths into rivers. It was the kind of night that made even the bravest soul think twice before venturing outside. Inside the warmth of the stable, I stood with Ginger and Merrylegs, listening to the storm rage outside. We were cosy and dry, but the sound of the wind and the relentless rain made us uneasy. Little did we know, this night would test my courage like never before. Suddenly, amidst the howling of the wind, came a knock at the stable door. John Manley appeared, his coat soaked through, holding a lantern that flickered in the storm. "Beauty," he called out to me, his voice urgent. "We need you tonight, more than ever." I pricked my ears, sensing the seriousness in his tone. John explained that the doctor needed to reach a sick patient in the village, and no other horse but me could brave the storm and make the journey. It was a matter of life and death. My heart raced at the thought. The storm outside was fierce, and the path to the village was treacherous even, in the best of conditions. Yet, the trust John placed in me, and the knowledge that someone's life depended on my strength and bravery, filled me with determination. With John's help, I was quickly harnessed to the doctor's carriage. The doctor, a kind man with a steady gaze, patted my neck. "I know it's a terrible night, Beauty," he said, "but I believe in you. Together we'll make it." As we set out into the storm, the wind and rain battered against us, trying to push us back. The lantern's light struggled to pierce the darkness, and the path was barely visible. I focused on the sound of John's voice, encouraging me from the ground before he sent us off, and the steady presence of the doctor sitting behind me. Step by step I made my way forward, my hooves slipping in the mud as I navigated the flooded paths. The rain soaked through my coat, chilling me to the bone, but my spirit remained unbroken. I thought of my friends back at the stable, of the trust the squire and his family had placed in me, and of the sick patient waiting for the doctor's help. These thoughts gave me strength. There were moments when the path seemed impossible to pass, the wind nearly knocking me off my feet. But each time I steadied myself, refusing to give up. The doctor's gentle words of encouragement reached me through the storm, reminding me that I was not alone in this challenge. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the lights of the village appeared through the rain. We had made it. The doctor quickly jumped down from the carriage, rushing to the patient's aid, while I stood, panting and exhausted, but filled with a sense of accomplishment. The journey back to Birtwick Park was no less challenging, but knowing that we had potentially saved a life gave me a new energy. When we finally arrived back at the stable, John was waiting for us, his face breaking into a smile of relief and pride as he saw us safe. "You've done it, Beauty," he said, patting my soaked neck. "You've shown true courage tonight." He led me into the stable, where Ginger and Merrylegs greeted me with soft neighs, sensing the ordeal I had been through. That night, as I rested in my stall, I reflected on the journey. I had faced my fears, braved the storm, and proved myself reliable in the face of great danger. The experience had shown me that within me lay a strength and bravery I had never known before. The storm outside eventually calmed, and peace returned to Birtwick Park. But the events of that night remained with me, a testament to the courage that lies within us all when we are called upon to face the challenges of life. As I drifted off to sleep, I felt a deep sense of pride. I had not only lived up to the expectations of those who depended on me, but had also discovered a new depth to my own character. It was a test of courage I would never forget, a night that had shown me the true meaning of bravery and reliability. Chapter 5. Farewell to Birtwick. Life at Birtwick Park had been a time of learning, growth, and happiness. The bonds I formed with Ginger, Merrylegs, and the humans who cared for us were stronger than I ever imagined possible. But as seasons change, so too do the circumstances of our lives. It was a sunny morning when John Manley came to the stable with news that would alter the course of our lives forever. "The squire's family has fallen ill," John said, his voice heavy with sadness. "And with the costs of their care mounting, they've made the hard decision to sell the estate, including us." The news hit me like a cold wind. The thought of leaving Birtwick Park, this place that had become my home, was unthinkable. Yet what pained me even more was the thought of being separated from my friends, from Ginger and Merrylegs, and from the people who had shown us nothing but kindness. In the days that followed, the estate buzzed with activity. Potential buyers came and went, their eyes evaluating us as if we were mere commodities. I felt a deep sense of unease, not knowing where we would end up, or if we would ever see each other again. The day finally came when we were to be sold. John Manley, with tears in his eyes, led us one by one to the front of the house where the buyers waited. "You've been the best of horses," he whispered to each of us. "Remember, no matter where you go, carry the spirit of Birtwick Park with you." Ginger, always the strong one, looked at me with a sense of resolve. Wherever we go, beauty, we'll never forget the days we spent here, running free in the pastures, the care we received, and the lessons we learned. Merrylegs, the ever-cheerful companion, seemed to understand the gravity of the moment too. He nuzzled me gently, as if to say, "We'll always be friends no matter where we are." One by one we were sold to different buyers. My heart ached as I watched Ginger led away by her new owner, her fiery mane catching the sunlight. Merrylegs, too, was taken by a kind-looking family, his small stature and gentle nature making him the perfect companion for their children. Then it was my turn. A man stepped forward, his gaze kind but firm. "This one," he said, pointing to me. "I'll take good care of him." As I was led away, I took one last look at Birtwick Park, its fields bathed in sunlight, the stable that had been my home, and the faces of the people I had come to love. The journey to my new home was a blur, my mind filled with memories of Birtwick Park. I remembered the lessons my mother, Duchess, had taught me in the meadow, the kindness of the squire and his family, and the friendships I had formed. Each memory was a treasure, a reminder of the good times that would stay with me forever. Arriving at my new home, I realized that my life was about to begin anew. The pain of parting was sharp, but within me burned a flame of hope. The kindness, the care, and the love I had experienced at Birtwick Park had prepared me for whatever lay ahead. As I settled into my new surroundings, I made a promise to myself. I would carry the spirit of Birtwick Park with me, living each day with the grace and dignity I had learned there. I would remember John Manley's gentle guidance, the squire's fairness, and the laughter of the children. And though I was apart from Ginger and Merrylegs, I knew that the bonds we shared could not be broken by distance. We were united by our experiences, by the joys and challenges we had faced together. In my heart, I carried the hope that one day our paths would cross again. The pain of leaving Birtwick Park was a testament to the love and joy I had experienced there. It was a chapter of my life I would cherish forever, a reminder of the beauty of friendship and the strength of spirit. As I looked out over my new pasture, the sun setting in the distance, I felt a sense of peace. Life is a journey, filled with hellos and goodbyes, with lessons learned and memories made. And as one chapter ends, another begins, full of new possibilities and new adventures. Farewell, Birtwick Park, my beloved home. You will always hold a special place in my heart. Chapter 6. Earlshall Park. My journey after Birtwick Park led me to Earlshall Park, a place where the beauty of the land contrasted sharply with the hardship I would come to know. As I entered my new home, the grandeur of the estate was undeniable. Yet, beneath the surface of its manicured gardens and stately halls, I found a world where appearance was valued above all else, even the well-being of US horses. The stable at Earlshall Park was unlike any I had known. It was pristine and polished, with every detail attended to with meticulous care. However, I soon learned that this attention to detail did not extend to the kindness and respect I had grown accustomed to at Birtwick Park. My new caretakers were strict and demanding, with little regard for our comfort or happiness. The saddles were tight, the bits were harsh, and our grooming was relentless, all to ensure we looked impeccable for the estate's many gatherings and outings. It was here that I met horses who, like me, had been brought to Earlshall Park to serve its prestigious reputation. But unlike the bonds of friendship I formed at Birtwick Park, here the spirits of many were broken, worn down by the constant pressure to perform and appear flawless. One of the hardest trials was the use of the bearing rein, a device meant to keep our heads held high in an unnatural position. It caused great discomfort and sometimes pain, but objections or resistance were met with harsh reprimands. The priority was always our appearance, not our well-being. The days were long and arduous, filled with training sessions designed not to improve our strength or agility, but to enhance our ability to parade and prance in ways that pleased the onlookers. We were admired, certainly, but it was a hollow kind of admiration, one that cared not for the soul beneath the shiny coat. Despite the beauty of the grounds, with its sprawling fields and flower-lined paths, there was little joy in our outings. Every step was monitored, every movement corrected. The freedom to run, to play, to simply be, was a distant memory, replaced by a regimented existence that valued appearance over essence. In this environment, friendships were hard to forge. Many of the horses were competitive, having learned that favoritism was often based on looks and performance. Yet, in the quiet moments, when the demands of the day eased, we found small ways to comfort each other, sharing soft knickers and gentle nuzzles, reminders that beneath the polished exterior, we were all longing for a kinder world. The caretakers, too, seemed caught in the web of Earlshall Park's expectations. Their faces were often stern, their hands quick to correct, but I sensed in some a hidden sadness, a regret for the harshness our roles required of them. It was a system that left little room for compassion, a cycle of expectations that bound us all. Nights at Earlshall Park were the hardest. Lying in my stall, the discomfort of the day's adornment still lingering, I would close my eyes and dream of Birtwick Park. I remembered the feel of the grass beneath my hooves, the warmth of the sun on my back, and the genuine affection of my friends and caretakers. These memories were a balm to my spirit, a reminder of what life could be when kindness and respect were placed above vanity and show. As the seasons changed, bringing with them the cycle of events and exhibitions that Earlshall Park was known for, I found within me a resilience I did not know I possessed. Each day was a test of endurance, a challenge to maintain my spirit amidst the trials. But with each challenge, I remembered the lessons of my mother, Duchess, and the strength I had drawn from my time at Birtwick Park. In the midst of hardship, I learned the true value of inner beauty, of strength, kindness, and resilience that no bearing rain could suppress. I held on to the hope that one day I would find myself in a place where these qualities were cherished, where the well-being of a horse was valued above the shine of its coat or the carriage of its head. Earlshall Park taught me much about the world and myself. It was a chapter of my life marked by hardship, but also by growth. Amidst the polish and the pageantry, I found a deeper sense of self, a steadfast spirit that no amount of grooming could enhance or diminish. And so, as I faced each day at Earlshall Park, I carried within me the hope of a brighter future, a belief that beyond the gates of this grand estate lay a world where horses were seen and valued for the beauty of their souls, not just the gleam of their appearance. It was this hope that sustained me, a beacon of light in the darkness, guiding me forward on my journey. Chapter 7. The Fire. One quiet night, when the moon hung low in the sky and the world was wrapped in a blanket of silence, a terrifying danger crept upon us at Earlshall Park. It was a danger that no one could have predicted, one that would test the bond between horse and human to its very core. It started as a faint smell of smoke, almost imperceptible at first. In the stillness of the night, such a scent was out of place, unsettling. I shifted uneasily in my stall, my senses heightened, trying to understand the source of this ominous signal. Suddenly the smell grew stronger, the faint crackling of flames accompanying it. It didn't take long for the realization to dawn on me. The stable was on fire. Panic surged through my veins, the instinct to flee, battling with the knowledge that I was trapped, confined by the walls of my stall. The smoke began to fill the stable, thick and choking, reducing visibility to mere shadows. Coughs and frightened whinnies broke out among my stablemates, a chorus of fear in the face of the encroaching flames. In that moment of terror, I remembered the kindness of humans at Birtwick Park, the lessons of trust and cooperation I had learned. It was this memory, this ingrained belief in the bond between horse and human, that spurred me into action. With a strength born of desperation, I kicked at the door of my stall, the wood groaning under the force of my blows. It was a struggle, each kick a battle against both the physical barrier and the rising tide of panic within me. Then, through the smoke, I saw a figure approaching, a stable boy, his face set with determination, a wet cloth over his mouth to ward off the smoke. He worked quickly, unlocking the stalls, freeing my stablemates, one by one. When he reached me, our eyes met for a brief moment, a silent exchange of trust and gratitude passing between us. Together, we moved through the stable boy leading us away from the flames, guiding us towards safety. The smoke stung my eyes, the heat from the fire searing, but the presence of this brave human by my side gave me the courage to keep moving. Outside, the cool night air was a balm to our smoke-filled lungs. The stable boy didn't stop until he had led us all to a safe distance from the fire, where we huddled together, watching as the flames devoured our home. It was then that the full extent of the disaster became apparent. The stable, once a place of shelter and safety, was now engulfed in flames, a towering inferno that lit the night sky. Firefighters battled the blaze, their hoses directed at the heart of the fire, their efforts heroic in the face of such destruction. As I stood there, amidst my stablemates, a profound sense of loss washed over me. Yet, amidst the loss, there was also a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the stable boy who had risked his life to save us, for the firefighters who fought to extinguish the flames, and for the bond between horse and human that had shone so brightly in the face of adversity. The fire was eventually brought under control, the once mighty flames reduced to smouldering ruins. The damage was extensive, the stable a charred shell of its former self. But we were alive, saved by the courage and quick thinking of a young stable boy and the tireless efforts of the firefighters. In the days that followed, the community came together to support us. Offers of shelter and aid poured in, a testament to the bonds of kindness and compassion that bind us all. It was a time of rebuilding, not just of structures, but of trust and hope. The fire at Earlshall Park was a dramatic chapter in my life, a reminder of the fragility of existence and the strength of the bonds that connect us. It taught me about heroism, not just the heroism of a single act, but the everyday heroism of kindness, of facing fear with courage, and of the powerful connection between horses and humans. In the aftermath, as we began to heal from the trauma of that night, I was reminded once again of the lessons of my youth, of the importance of trust, cooperation, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. The fire had tested us, but in the end it had only made those bonds stronger, a beacon of light in the darkness, guiding us forward on the journey of life. Chapter 8. Reuben Smith. After the fire at Earlshall Park, my life took yet another turn. I found myself under the care of a man named Reuben Smith. Reuben was a groom with hands as skilled as they were gentle, a man whose understanding of horses was deep and intuitive. But Reuben carried within him a struggle that often overshadowed his talents, a battle with drink that led to periods of unreliability and sorrow. Reuben's reputation as a groom was well known. His ability to calm the most troubled horse, to diagnose a slight limp or a subtle change in behavior, was almost magical. Under his care, I thrived, regaining not just my physical strength but also a sense of peace I had not felt since leaving Birtwick Park. However, Reuben's battle with his demons was a constant undercurrent to our days. There were times when he would disappear, leaving us without his care and guidance. These absences were filled with whispers of concern, both for Reuben's well-being and for our own. Despite this, when Reuben was present, his dedication to us was unmatched. He spoke to us in soft tones, his hands always sure and comforting. He shared stories of his past, of the horses he had cared for, and the mistakes he had made. It was in these moments that I saw the true Reuben, a man of great kindness and vulnerability. Reuben's struggle was a lesson in the complexities of human nature, in the ways that personal battles can impact those around us. Yet, it was also a lesson in redemption. For despite his flaws, Reuben sought to make amends through his work, to care for us with a devotion that was as unwavering as it was tender. One day, Reuben's struggle came to a head. He arrived at the stable in a state I had never seen him before, his walk unsteady, his speech slurred. It was clear that he was in no condition to work, yet he insisted on taking me out for exercise. The outing was fraught with danger. Reuben's usual careful handling was absent, replaced by erratic commands and a lack of attention to the road. It was a testament to the bond between us that we returned safely, but the incident left its mark. It was a stark reminder of the consequences of human frailties, not just for the person struggling, but for those in their care. The aftermath of that day was a turning point for Reuben. The shame and regret he felt were palpable, a heavy weight that he carried with him. Yet it was also the beginning of a journey towards redemption. Reuben sought help, determined to overcome the battle that had nearly cost us both dearly. In the weeks and months that followed, I watched as Reuben fought to reclaim his life and his dignity. It was a slow process, filled with setbacks and victories, but through it all, his commitment to our care never wavered. He became more present, more reliable, a constant source of kindness and understanding. Reuben's journey was a powerful reminder of the capacity for change, of the strength that lies in seeking help and striving for betterment. His love for us, his charges, became a guiding light, a reason to fight the demons that had once threatened to consume him. Under Reuben's care, I not only regained my strength, but also found a deeper understanding of the human condition. I learned that frailty and strength could coexist, that redemption was possible for those who sought it with a true heart. Reuben Smith taught me about the resilience of the human spirit, about the power of compassion and the importance of forgiveness. His story was one of hope, a testament to the idea that it is never too late to change, to make amends, and to move forward with purpose and love. As I stood beside him each day, I saw the changes in Reuben, the gradual easing of the burden he had carried for so long. It was a transformation that spoke to the possibility of redemption for all, a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there is light, there is hope, and there is the promise of a new beginning. Chapter 9. The Hard Times. The next chapter of my journey brought me to the bustling streets of London, a world away from the meadows of my youth and the grand estates where I had served. Here I found myself under the care of a cab driver, a hard-working man named Jerry. The work was unlike anything I had experienced before, pulling cabs through the crowded, noisy streets from dawn until dusk. London was a maze of cobblestone streets, filled with the sounds of shouting vendors, the clatter of carriage wheels, and the constant throng of people. The air was thick with smoke, and the pace of life seemed unending. For a horse used to the open fields and quiet paths of the countryside, the city was overwhelming. Jerry, my new owner, was a kind man in a difficult situation. He relied on me to earn a living, to support his family. The responsibility weighed heavily on me, but Jerry's kindness and fair treatment made the burden lighter. He took care of me as best he could, ensuring I was fed, watered, and rested whenever possible. But the work was grueling. Each day I was harnessed to the cab, and we would set off into the chaos of the city. The noise was deafening. The pollution from the factories and the endless sea of people made breathing difficult, and the hard pavement was unforgiving under my hooves. We worked in all conditions, through rain and fog, heat and cold. The days were long, and the rest was short. The constant stop and start of city traffic was exhausting, and the demands of passengers were often unreasonable. Yet Jerry always treated me with respect, never asking more of me than I could give, always mindful of my well-being amidst the demands of his trade. This period was one of the hardest of my life. The physical toll was significant, but more challenging was the mental strain. The memories of my days in green pasturies seemed like a distant dream, and the constant hustle and bustle of city life left little room for peace. Yet, it was during this time that I learned the true strength of resilience. Jerry's unwavering care, his determination to treat me with kindness even when the world showed us little, taught me that even in the hardest times, there is room for compassion and dignity. The bond between us grew strong, forged in the fires of our daily struggle. Jerry spoke to me as a friend, sharing his hopes and worries as we traversed the city together. In him, I found a kindred spirit, a human who understood the value of hard work and the importance of empathy. Our time together was not without its moments of joy. The early mornings, when the city was still quiet, held a certain beauty. The empty streets, the soft light of dawn breaking over the rooftops, offered a brief respite from the chaos of the day ahead. And there were moments of kindness from strangers, too. Passengers who noticed my efforts and offered a gentle pat or a kind word. Small gestures that reminded me that even in the heart of the city, the bond between humans and horses was recognized and valued. But the hard times took their toll. Despite Jerry's care, the constant work, the pollution and the hard streets began to affect my health. My once glossy coat lost its shine, and my steps became slower, heavier. Jerry noticed the change and worried over me, his brow furrowed in concern as he contemplated our future. It was clear that the life of a cab horse in London was unsustainable for me. The realization was a painful one, both for Jerry and for me. We had become companions in adversity, partners in the struggle to make a living in the unforgiving city. Yet, Jerry's concern for my well-being above all else led him to make a difficult decision. He knew that to save me he would have to let me go, to find a place where I could recover and live out my days in peace. The day of our parting was a somber one. Jerry led me away from the cab for the last time, his hand resting gently on my neck as we walked. "You've been a good friend, Beauty," he said softly. "It's time for you to rest, to find peace away from the noise and the smoke of the city." As I left Jerry and the city behind, I carried with me the lessons of those hard times, the resilience to endure, the strength to carry on, and the knowledge that kindness and compassion can shine even in the darkest moments. My time as a cab horse in London was a chapter of struggle, but also a chapter of profound growth, a testament to the enduring spirit of both horse and human in the face of adversity. Chapter 10. Jerry Barker. In the bustling heart of London, amidst the clamour and chaos of city life, my story found a glimmer of light in the form of Jerry Barker, a cab driver with a heart as vast as the open fields of my youth. Jerry was not just an owner, he was a friend, a guardian, and a testament to the profound impact that compassion and respect can have on the lives of working animals like me. From the moment Jerry took me under his care, it was clear that he was different from the others. His approach to our work together was infused with kindness, a recognition of my needs and limitations that was rare in the demanding world of cab driving. Jerry understood that a happy horse meant a happy life, not just for the animal, but for the human as well. Jerry's care extended beyond the basics of food, water, and shelter. He paid attention to the little things, the details of my well-being that others might overlook. He made sure my harness fit comfortably, avoiding the painful chafing that I had endured in the past. He was mindful of the weight of the cab and the length of our working hours, ensuring that I was not overburdened or overworked. But Jerry's kindness was not limited to physical care. He spoke to me as a partner, with words of encouragement and gratitude that filled our days with warmth and camaraderie. In the mornings, as we prepared to face the day, Jerry would often pat my neck and say, "Together, beauty, we'll make it through another day." And in the evenings, as we returned home, weary but fulfilled, he would thank me for my hard work and dedication. This respectful treatment transformed our work from a mere means of survival into a partnership built on mutual trust and understanding. Under Jerry's care, I found a renewed sense of purpose, a joy in our daily tasks that I had not felt since my days in the countryside. Jerry's compassion extended beyond his treatment of me. He was known in our neighbourhood for his fairness and kindness, traits that made him a favourite among passengers and peers alike. Jerry believed that kindness was a circle, that the respect and care he showed me would be passed on to others, creating a ripple effect of goodwill in a world that often seemed indifferent. One of the most memorable demonstrations of Jerry's character came on a bitterly cold winter night. A passenger, impatient and uncaring, demanded that we take a longer, more treacherous route home. Despite the risk to both of us, Jerry refused, not willing to compromise my safety for the sake of convenience. "My horse comes first," he declared firmly, a statement that filled me with a deep sense of pride and loyalty. Jerry's commitment to our well-being was put to the test during the hard times, when illness and the harsh conditions of city life took their toll on me. It would have been easy for Jerry to push me beyond my limits, to prioritize his immediate needs over my long-term health. But he chose a different path, one of sacrifice and love. Recognizing the signs of my suffering, Jerry made the difficult decision to find me a new home, a place where I could rest and recover. The day I left Jerry was one of mixed emotions. There was sadness in parting from a friend who had become so dear to me, but also gratitude for the time we had shared and the lessons we had learned from each other. Jerry's final words to me were a promise, a vow that he would always remember our time together and the difference that kindness can make. Jerry Barker was more than just a cab driver. He was a beacon of hope, a reminder that in a world of hardship and toil, compassion and respect can illuminate the darkest paths. His legacy was not measured in riches or accolades, but in the lives he touched, both human and horse, and in the enduring belief that kindness is the strongest force of all. As I moved on to the next chapter of my life, I carried with me the memories of our time together, the lessons of kindness, and the power of a respectful partnership. Jerry Barker, with his gentle ways and his big heart, had shown me the best of what humans can be, and for that I would be forever grateful. Chapter 11. A Stroke of Luck. Just when the streets of London seemed to have claimed all the energy I had left, fate smiled upon me, bringing a change so sudden and so welcome it felt like a stroke of luck. Jerry Barker, my kind owner and friend, made a decision that would breathe new life into my weary bones. He announced one day, with a sparkle of hope in his eyes, that we were to move to the countryside. The city, with all its smoke and noise and endless toil, was to be left behind. The news filled me with an excitement I hadn't felt since my days in the lush fields of my youth. The countryside promised fresh air, open spaces, and the chance to regain the strength that the city had drained from me. Jerry, too, seemed rejuvenated by the decision, his steps lighter, his smile brighter at the prospect of a new beginning. The day of our departure arrived amidst a flurry of preparations. Our cab, once a symbol of our shared struggle, was sold, and in its place Jerry acquired a small cart, suitable for the quieter roads and gentler pace of country life. As we set off from London, leaving behind the clamour and the crowds, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders, a sense of liberation that grew with every mile we put between us and the city. The journey to our new home was like a slow awakening, a gradual transition from grey to green, from confinement to freedom. The air grew fresher, the noise faded away, and in its place came the sounds of nature, birds singing, leaves rustling, and the distant murmur of a stream. Arriving in the countryside was like stepping into a different world. Our new home was a modest cottage, surrounded by fields and meadows as far as the eye could see. Jerry's family greeted us with open arms, their faces alight with the joy of our arrival. It was a warm welcome, a sign that this was where we were meant to be. My new surroundings were a balm to my weary spirit. The fields offered endless opportunities for exploration. The grass underfoot was soft and welcoming, and the streams were cool and refreshing. Jerry took care of me with the same kindness he had always shown, but now there was a new ease to his manner, a peace that came from the knowledge that we had found a place where we could both thrive. The work, when it came, was nothing like the grueling toil of the city. Jerry and I would take occasional trips into the nearby village, delivering goods or transporting neighbours. The cart was light, the roads were gentle, and the pace of life was unhurried. It was work that left room for rest and for the simple joy of being together in this beautiful place. In the countryside I regained my strength and my health. My coat grew glossy again, my muscles filled out, and my steps became sure and strong. The days were filled with the simple pleasures of grazing in the meadow, of basking in the sun, and of the quiet companionship of Jerry and his family. But it was not just the physical improvements that marked this time as a stroke of luck. In the peace of the countryside, I found a deeper sense of contentment, a connection to the world around me that had been lost in the hustle and bustle of the city. Jerry, too, seemed transformed. The worry lines that had etched themselves into his face in London now smoothed away, replaced by a contentment that mirrored my own. Our move to the countryside was a turning point, a chance to live life as it was meant to be lived, in harmony with the natural world, with space to breathe and to grow. It was a reminder that sometimes the greatest blessings come from the simplest changes, and that happiness can be found in the return to basics, fresh air, open spaces, and the company of those we care for. As I looked out over the fields bathed in the golden light of sunset, I knew that this stroke of luck was more than just a change of scenery. It was a gift, a second chance at a life filled with joy and health and peace, and for that I was profoundly grateful. Chapter 12. The Gentleman's Horse. After the peaceful days in the countryside with Jerry Barker, fate once again steered my life into a new chapter, one that would bring further healing and contentment to my days. I came under the care of a kind gentleman, a man of gentle demeanour and understanding heart, who saw in me not just a horse, but a companion. This gentleman, whom I'll call Mr. Thomas, was a figure of compassion, a beacon of light that shone on the path of my recovery. Mr. Thomas lived in a quiet part of the countryside, where rolling hills met clear blue skies, and where the air was always fresh with the scent of pine and earth. His estate was modest but beautiful, with wide open spaces for me to roam and graze, and a comfortable stable that became my new home. From the beginning, Mr. Thomas made it clear that my days of hard labour were behind me. "You've earned your rest, Beauty," he would say, patting my neck with a gentle hand. "Here, you'll do only light work, enough to keep you healthy and happy." True to his word, Mr. Thomas used me for leisurely rides through the countryside, for short trips to the market, or for gentle trots along the scenic paths that wound through the woods and fields. The work was light and enjoyable, a far cry from the demanding tasks of my past. It was work that allowed me to regain my strength and spirit in a way that felt like healing. Mr. Thomas was not just kind in his treatment of me, he was attentive to my needs, always ensuring that I was well fed, well groomed, and well rested. He spoke to me in soft tones, his voice always carrying a note of gratitude and respect. Under his care, I flourished, my coat regaining its glossy sheen, my eyes their bright spark. But it wasn't just the physical care that made my life with Mr. Thomas so remarkable. It was the sense of peace that pervaded his estate, the gentle rhythm of our days, and the quiet companionship we shared. Mr. Thomas often took time to simply be with me, sitting by my side in the paddock, reading a book while I grazed, or sharing his thoughts as we looked out over the hills at sunset. This quiet companionship was a balm to my soul, a reminder of the deep bond that can exist between horse and human, when mutual respect and understanding form the foundation of the relationship. Mr. Thomas often said that I was not just his horse but his friend, a declaration that filled me with a profound sense of belonging and worth. Our time together was not marked by grand adventures or notable events, but by the simple, everyday moments that build a life. It was in these moments that I found true happiness, a contentment that came not from excitement or accolade, but from the peace and kindness that filled my days. Mr. Thomas taught me that recovery is not just about healing the body, but about soothing the spirit as well. He showed me that light work, when done with care and consideration, can be a source of joy and rejuvenation. Under his care, I learned to trust again, to embrace the present with a heart full of gratitude. As the seasons changed, painting the countryside with the vibrant colours of autumn, the crisp white of winter, the fresh green of spring, and the warm hues of summer, I settled into my life with Mr. Thomas with a deep sense of peace. Each day was a gift, each moment a treasure to be cherished. In Mr. Thomas, I found not just an owner, but a guardian, a friend who understood the value of kindness and the power of gentle care. He was a true gentleman, in every sense of the word, and his influence on my life was profound. As I look back on my time as the gentleman's horse, I am filled with gratitude for the stroke of luck that brought me to his door. It was a chapter of my life that taught me the true meaning of recovery, of the strength that lies in gentleness, and of the healing power of kindness and respect. In the quiet beauty of the countryside, with Mr. Thomas by my side, I found a sanctuary, a place where I could truly rest and recover, body and soul. Chapter 13. Ginger's End. In the gentle embrace of my new life with Mr. Thomas, a shadow fell upon my heart with the unexpected encounter of an old friend, Ginger. Once fiery and full of spirit, the Ginger I came across one day bore little resemblance to the companion of my youth. It was a meeting that would stir deep reflections on the burdens we as working animals often bear. I had ventured out with Mr. Thomas on a mild afternoon, the sun casting a warm glow over the countryside, when the sight of a familiar figure caught my eye. Ginger, once so vibrant and lively, stood before me, her once glossy coat now dull and her frame thin. The light in her eyes, that spark that had defined her, seemed diminished. Mr. Thomas, noticing my interest, allowed me to approach her. As I drew closer, the full extent of Ginger's plight became heartbreakingly clear. The signs of hard work and neglect were etched into her being, a stark testament to the years of toil she had endured since our paths had diverged. "Beauty," Ginger whispered, her voice a mere shadow of its former strength. "I've missed you, old friend." The joy of our reunion was tinged with sorrow, for the Ginger who stood before me was a stark reminder of the harsh realities faced by many of our kind. We shared a moment of quiet companionship, a connection that transcended the years and the hardships. Ginger spoke of her life since we had parted, a tale of relentless work and scant care, a story far removed from the kindness and respect we had once known. It was a story that echoed the experiences of too many, a narrative of suffering borne in silence. Mr. Thomas, witnessing our reunion, was moved by Ginger's condition. "It's a cruel fate for such noble creatures," he said softly, a note of sorrow in his voice. His words sparked a conversation about the impact of hard work and neglect on horses, a discussion that weighed heavily on my heart. Ginger's tale was a somber reminder of the importance of humane treatment and the need for understanding and compassion in our care. It highlighted the stark contrast between the life I had been fortunate enough to find with Mr. Thomas and the all-too-common reality of neglect and overwork. As we prepared to part ways, I nuzzled Ginger gently, a silent promise that she would not be forgotten. Mr. Thomas, ever kind, made arrangements for Ginger to receive care, a gesture of hope in the face of her suffering. Though her body was worn, there was a resilience in her spirit, a testament to the enduring strength of horses. The encounter with Ginger left a lasting impression on me, a deep-seated sadness for my friend's suffering, but also a renewed gratitude for the kindness I had found. It reinforced the importance of advocacy for the welfare of working animals, a call to action to ensure that others might be spared Ginger's fate. In the days that followed, I often found myself reflecting on Ginger's story, on the impact of hard work and neglect, and on the difference that compassion and care can make. It was a reminder of our shared vulnerability, of the responsibility of humans to treat us with the respect and kindness we deserve. Ginger's end was a poignant chapter in my life, a moment that underscored the profound connections we form with one another, and the indelible mark we leave on each other's hearts. It was a call to remember the forgotten, and to speak for those who cannot, a reminder of the power of kindness to heal and to harm. As I roamed the fields of Mr. Thomas's estate, the memory of Ginger accompanied me, a bittersweet reminder of the journey we had shared. Her spirit, undimmed despite the hardships she had faced, was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the strength of the heart endures. Ginger's story, while heart-wrenching, was a catalyst for change, a reminder to all who heard it of the importance of kindness, of the impact of our actions on the lives of those who serve us so faithfully. In her memory, I vowed to carry forward the lessons of compassion, to live as a testament to the possibility of a kinder, more understanding world for all creatures. Chapter 14. The Last Owner. As the seasons of my life turned, bringing with them both joy and sorrow, I found myself embarking on what would be the final chapter of my journey. Sold to a kind family, I was welcomed into a home where peace and tranquility reigned, a place where the scars of my past could fully heal, and where I could spend my remaining years surrounded by love and care. This family, the Harrisons, lived on a sprawling farm nestled in the heart of the countryside, a land of rolling fields, babbling brooks, and ancient trees. From the moment I arrived, I knew I had found a sanctuary, a haven where the memories of my hardships could fade away, replaced by the gentle rhythms of farm life. The Harrisons treated me not as a beast of burden, but as a member of their family. They understood the trials I had endured and offered me a life of dignity and respect. My days were filled with leisurely grazes in the lush pastures, leisurely strolls along the shaded paths that crisscrossed the farm, and restful afternoons basking in the sun. Mr. Harrison, a gentle soul with a deep love for all creatures, often spent time with me, sharing stories of the farm and its inhabitants. Mrs. Harrison, equally kind-hearted, made sure I was always well fed and comfortable, her tender care a balm to my weary spirit. In this idyllic setting, I found a peace I had never known. The pain and weariness that had once been my constant companions slowly ebbed away, leaving behind a sense of contentment and well-being. I had room to roam, friends in the form of the other animals on the farm, and the gentle care of the Harrisons, who asked for nothing more than my happiness in return. As I reflected on my life, from the meadows of my youth to the varied experiences that had shaped my journey, I realized the profound impact of kindness, respect, and understanding. I thought of Jerry Barker and Mr. Thomas, of Ginger and Merrylegs, and of all the souls, both human and equine, who had touched my life. Each chapter of my story, from the highest highs to the lowest lows, had taught me valuable lessons. I learned about resilience in the face of hardship, about the strength found in friendship, and about the transformative power of compassion. These lessons, hard won through the experiences of my life, became the legacy I hoped to leave behind. In my twilight years, surrounded by the beauty of the Harrison farm and the love of my final owners, I often gazed out over the fields, my heart full of gratitude. Life had brought me full circle, from the carefree days of my youth through trials and tribulations, to this place of rest and reflection. The Harrisons gave me the greatest gift of all, the chance to live out my days in peace, to know that I was valued not for the work I could do, but for the simple fact of my being. They showed me that it is never too late for a new beginning, that the end of one chapter is just the start of another. As the sun set each evening, casting long shadows over the farm, I felt a deep connection to the world around me, to the cycle of life that continued unabated. In this tranquil setting, I found a sense of closure, a knowledge that my journey had been meaningful, that I had lived a life full of purpose and love. My final years with the Harrisons were a gentle epilogue to the adventure of my life, a time of reflection and gratitude. They taught me that peace is not just the absence of struggle, but the presence of love, the kindness of family, and the beauty of the natural world. As I stood in the golden light of the setting sun, I knew that my story, with all its chapters of joy and sorrow, would live on, a testament to the enduring bonds between horse and human, and the timeless lessons of the heart. In the quiet of the countryside, with the Harrisons by my side, I had found my forever home, a place where my spirit could rest, embraced by peace and tranquility at last. Chapter 15. Reflections. As I stand in the tranquil fields of the Harrison farm, my heart brimming with peace, I find myself reflecting on the journey that has brought me here. It has been a journey marked by both joy and sorrow, by the bonds I've formed and the lessons I've learned along the way. Now, in the twilight of my years, I wish to share the wisdom that life has bestowed upon me, in the hope that it might light the path for others. Kindness, I have discovered, is the most powerful force in the world. It has the ability to heal wounds, to bridge gaps, and to transform lives. In my travels, I have been at the mercy of both cruelty and care, and I have seen firsthand the impact that each can have. Kindness, whether it comes in the form of a gentle word, a caring touch, or an act of compassion, can leave an indelible mark on the soul, offering solace and strength in even the darkest of times. Respect, too, is of paramount importance. To be seen and treated with dignity, to have one's needs and feelings considered, is a fundamental desire of all beings, human and animal alike. My life has taught me that respect is the foundation of understanding and coexistence. When we look beyond our differences and see the inherent worth in each other, we pave the way for mutual respect and lasting connections. Understanding is the key that unlocks the door to empathy and compassion. By seeking to understand the experiences and perspectives of others, we open our hearts to their reality, fostering a sense of kinship and empathy. My own story is a testament to the power of understanding, to the difference it can make when someone takes the time to see the world through another's eyes. Throughout my life, I have been blessed to know humans who embodied these virtues. Jerry Barker, with his unwavering kindness, Mr. Thomas, who treated me with the utmost respect, and the Harrisons, whose understanding and compassion have given me a final chapter filled with peace. Each of them, in their own way, has shown me that the bond between human and animal can be one of profound friendship and mutual care. But my reflections also lead me to think of Ginger, my dear friend, whose life was a stark reminder that not all creatures are fortunate enough to experience kindness, respect, and understanding. Her story, and the stories of countless others like her, underline the importance of advocating for those who cannot speak for themselves, of standing up against neglect and cruelty in all its forms. As I look back on my journey, I am filled with gratitude for the lessons it has taught me. I have learned that the smallest act of kindness can change the course of a life, that respect is a gift that costs nothing to give but is priceless to receive, and that understanding is the first step toward a more compassionate world. In sharing my reflections, my hope is that others might be inspired to live with kindness, to treat all beings with the respect they deserve, and to strive for a deeper understanding of the myriad lives that share this earth with us. For, in the end, it is these virtues that make life truly beautiful, that weave the fabric of a society where every creature can live in peace and dignity. My journey may be nearing its end, but the lessons I have learned along the way will endure. They are my legacy, a message of hope and a call to action for future generations. It is my deepest wish that this legacy might inspire others to create a world where kindness reigns supreme, where respect is given freely, and where understanding bridges the gap between hearts and minds. In the quiet of the countryside, with the setting sun casting long shadows over the land, I am content. For I know that my story, a simple tale of a horse's life, carries within it the seeds of change, the promise of a kinder, more compassionate world for all. Chapter 16. The Final Meadow. As the sun dips low, casting a golden glow over the final meadow of my journey, I find myself looking back on the path my hooves have trodden. From the lush green pastures of my youth to the bustling streets of London, from the tranquil countryside with Jerry Barker to the peaceful embrace of the Harrison farm. My life has been a tapestry woven with experiences both bitter and sweet. Now, in the quiet of my twilight years, I am filled with a deep sense of gratitude for the kindness that has illuminated my way. Reflecting on my journey, I am struck by the moments of compassion that have shaped my existence. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, has been a beacon of hope, a testament to the goodness that resides in the hearts of those I have encountered. These moments have taught me the power of empathy, the importance of extending our hearts to all living beings, understanding their struggles, and offering our support. I am grateful for the gentle hands that have cared for me, for the soothing words that have calmed my fears, and for the bonds of friendship that have enriched my life. I think of Jerry Barker, whose steadfast companionship showed me the strength of kindness, Mr. Thomas, whose respect for my dignity allowed me to heal, and the Harrisons, whose love and understanding have given me a final refuge. Each of them has played a pivotal role in my story, teaching me valuable lessons about the capacity for human compassion. As I gaze across the final meadow, my heart swells with hope for the future. I dream of a world where all creatures are treated with the compassion and respect they deserve, where the bond between humans and animals is guided by empathy and understanding. I hope that my story, a simple tale of a horse's journey through life, will inspire others to see the beauty and value in every living being. I hope that future generations will recognize the importance of kindness, not only to their fellow humans, but to all the creatures with whom we share this earth. For it is in kindness that we find our common humanity, our connection to the world around us, and our path to a more compassionate society. In the stillness of the meadow, as the final rays of the sun fade into twilight, I am at peace. I am grateful for the journey I have had, for the lessons I have learned, and for the love I have known. My life has been a journey of discovery, of joy and sorrow, of challenges and triumphs, and as I look back on it all, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude. I hope that my story, the story of Black Beauty, will be a beacon of hope, a reminder of the importance of compassion and kindness in our dealings with all creatures. Let it be a call to action, to treat every being with the dignity and respect they deserve, to extend our hands in friendship and our hearts in understanding. As night falls over the final meadow, I close my eyes, content in the knowledge that my legacy will be one of love and compassion. I hope that, in some small way, my journey will inspire others to create a world where kindness reigns supreme, where every creature is treated with the care and respect they deserve, and where the bond between humans and animals is cherished and nurtured. In the quiet of the evening, with the stars beginning to twinkle in the sky above, I offer my final thoughts to the world. May we all strive to be a little kinder, a little more understanding, and a little more compassionate in our journey through life. For it is in these virtues that we find the true beauty of existence, the connection that binds us all, and the hope for a brighter, more compassionate future for every creature that walks, flies, or swims upon this earth. As we close the pages on the touching and transformative journey of Black Beauty, we find ourselves not at an end, but at a beginning of reflection, of newfound understanding, and of a commitment to carry forward the lessons of compassion, kindness, and respect that Black Beauty's life has so beautifully illustrated. This story, a tapestry of triumph and trial, of friendship and farewell, reminds us of the profound connections that can exist between the human and animal worlds. It's a narrative that transcends mere words, reaching into the heart of what it means to live with empathy and care for all beings. But the journey doesn't end here. We invite you to bring these lessons into your life, to share the story of Black beauty with others, and to join a community of learners and empathetic souls at WooEnglish. By engaging with stories like these, not only do we improve our language skills, but we also enrich our hearts and minds, fostering a kinder, more compassionate world. We encourage you to share your thoughts, reflections, and how Black beauty's story has touched you in the comments below. Your insights and experiences add to the richness of our learning community, inspiring others to explore and grow. And if you found joy and value in this journey, please press the like button to let us know. Your likes are a simple yet powerful way to support us, motivating us to continue creating meaningful and educational content. For those eager to delve deeper into the world of English through stories, we invite you to visit WooEnglish.com. Here, you can download PDF versions of Black Beauty and other stories, allowing you to revisit these narratives anytime, anywhere. It's a resource designed to support your language learning journey, offering stories that educate, inspire, and entertain. As we bid farewell to Black beauty and the characters who have accompanied us on this journey, let's carry their stories forward, letting them guide us toward a future where empathy and understanding light the way. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Your engagement, your likes, and your comments not only enrich our community, but also fuel our passion for creating content that makes a difference. Together, let's continue to explore, learn, and grow, one story at a time.